Have you ever thought about the spiritual power you might have and not even know it? We live in a time where women have the opportunity to explore their spirituality without limitations. Sadhguru has a unique take on this, showing how you can go beyond the physical and embrace your true potential. Want to learn how to apply this in a practical and powerful way in your life? Stay tuned for the video. The connection between a mother and her child goes beyond what the eyes can see. Think about the magic. The bond doesn't end at birth. In fact, the baby's cells actually become part of the mother's organs, like tiny biological messengers. For example, a mother's heart might carry traces of her child, affecting her physical reactions. It's as if, in moments of joy or sadness, the child is still there, leaving an invisible mark. Pretty amazing, right? Now, imagine how this shapes a mother's life in unexpected ways. Even a simple scare or a moment of laughter could be a dance between the child's cells and the mother's organs. When it comes to health, the impact goes way beyond genetics. This biological exchange helps the mom adapt to the baby's needs. If you think about it, it's almost like the child already knows how to make sure mom stays present and healthy, even when words haven't come into play yet. And that brings us to something interesting. This deep bond teaches powerful lessons about protecting and nurturing. As time goes on and kids grow up, this physiological connection changes. It's like a gradual shift, part of the natural evolution we all go through. The connection might fade physically, but the emotional impact is always there. Speaking of which, did you know there's a major transition that marks the next chapter of life for both mother and child? Sadhguru, in his playful way, jokes that an unborn child is a natural strategist. Even before coming into the world, it's already shaping the environment around it, making sure mom feels connected and tuned in. It's like the baby is saying, "Hey, I'm gonna need you, so I'll make sure you're always around." Sounds like something out of a movie, but there's some truth to this biological strategy. Nature ensures that the bond is unbreakable from the start. Think of pregnancy as a training phase. The mother's body not only creates the child, but also changes to respond to it. Hormones move in perfect sync to make sure everything's aligned. Imagine a mom experiencing wild emotions or developing a fierce protective instinct. It's not just a mind game. It's a reflection of the bond the child created, shaping how she reacts to the world. It's biology with a sprinkle of magic. Even so, as the child grows and starts exploring the world on their own, that biological impact evolves. But the memory of that initial connection never really fades. This transition, from intense dependence to growing independence, raises fascinating questions about how life flows naturally. On that note, have you ever wondered what happens as that biological bond begins to fade over time? That's the next step we're going to dive into. As kids grow up, something pretty remarkable happens. That intense biological connection between mother and child starts to loosen up. Around 18 for girls and 21 for boys, this physical influence fades, marking a new chapter for both. It's like the body finally saying, "All right, you're good to go on your own now." The mom, once so deeply connected, feels this change as a natural shift in life. But of course, the emotional bond stays as strong as ever. This transition comes with both relief and challenges. On one hand, a mom might feel lighter, no longer carrying the physical weight of her child. On the other, the sense of separation can be pretty intense emotionally. It's that moment parents realize their once totally dependent kids are ready to take off on their own. It's like being on a roller coaster, feeling that sudden drop, a mix of freedom and fear. But even then, the connection never fully disappears. What's interesting is how this change reflects the journey of motherhood. The body, once a safe haven and protector, learns to let go. From here on, the relationship becomes less physical and more spiritual, or emotional. And it makes you wonder, what else has nature planned for women? The next point dives into how a woman's body is deeply rooted in physicality, revealing some profound truths about human evolution. Women, from an evolutionary perspective, are more anchored to their physical bodies. It's a survival strategy that's kept our species going. Picture a mom with her instincts on high alert to protect her children. It's not just intuition. It's a deep biological programming. In the past, this meant a woman was always ready to defend or protect her kids. But nowadays, being so physically grounded can be a challenge on a spiritual path. This natural tendency to be connected to the physical body isn't a flaw, but a gift from evolution. Still, it can be a hurdle when the goal is to transcend the physical and focus on spiritual growth. For the modern woman, this means finding a balance between that grounding and the desire for inner evolution. A spiritual practice like meditation can help soften that connection. Want a practical example? Try mindful breathing techniques to experience a sense of lightness beyond the physical. The key is recognizing that, despite our biology, there are deeper layers to explore. Women can embrace their physical nature and still reach spiritual heights. And that brings us to the next point: how to grow spiritually without being tied down by gender concepts. Because in the spiritual realm, physical limitations aren't obstacles, they're starting points for the journey beyond. When it comes to spirituality, gender just doesn't matter. The physical world might be full of limitations and rules that define us as men or women, but on the spiritual path, those divisions fade away. Imagine a woman striving and competing in the physical world to be seen and heard. Now, picture her letting go of those struggles to reach for something bigger, a growth that transcends the boundaries of male and female. It's a whole different ball game. Spiritual growth calls for a kind of strength that has nothing to do with physical ability. It's more about an inner journey where biological differences lose their importance. Think of it as an invitation to shift energy from competing to evolving. Want a practical way to start? Try chakra-focused meditation like Sahasrara, which centers on the top of your head and helps you rise above everyday worries. When you do this, you realize that in the spiritual realm, we're all travelers searching for the same truth. This transformation is powerful because it changes how women see themselves in the world. It's not about proving their worth. It's about realizing that worth has always been there. As they embark on this journey, one truth becomes clear. We're living in a time where women can truly shine, not just in the physical world, but in their spiritual domain too. Curious about how this plays out in today's world? That's what we're going to dive into next. We're in an era where women have more opportunities than ever to shine both physically and spiritually. In the past, the fight was just to have a voice or a place at the table, but now women can be recognized for their wisdom and spiritual growth. It's like the world is finally waking up to the spiritual power women have. Think about female spiritual leaders who aren't just heard but inspire millions with their teachings and practices. With so much freedom to explore the spiritual world, having access to tools and knowledge feels like a true gift. Guided meditation, yoga practices, or even healing rituals are more accessible than ever. For modern women, this means they don't have to choose between being physically strong or spiritually strong. Both can exist together, creating a unique balance. Want a practical example? Going to a women's spiritual retreat can be life-changing, offering insights and a sense of purpose. And as more women awaken to this reality, the impact is huge. They're not just transforming their own lives, but also influencing future generations to value inner wisdom just as much as outer success. That leaves us with the question: how can each woman use this gift to make a positive mark on the world? The answer lies in action, taking what you know and bringing it into your everyday life. Now that you know the spiritual potential within you, why not start putting it into practice? Ask yourself, what's holding you back from tapping into that wisdom? Apply what you've learned today, whether it's through meditation, energy work, or simply taking time to connect with your essence. What will you do differently from now on? I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss more content like this. Keep going on this journey and unlock your inner power. So, what are you waiting for?